Hello there everybody, welcome back to another Mushroom Game video, or if you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Chris. I post random gameplay videos of things that I enjoy and guide videos much like this one. Now, for today's video, we're going to be going over how to obtain Meso as a brand new player, focused primarily on the reboot/heroic server. I'm sure if you're new here and you've done a little bit of searching already on how to best get Meso in reboot/heroic, you may have come across a lot of things that maybe don't make too much sense to you, or things that are clearly outside of your grasp right now in whatever account progression you may be in. It's things such as boss mules, Meso farming with Meso gear, WAPs, Legion coupons, and a bunch of other things that I'm sure might make absolutely no sense to you. Don't worry if it doesn't, because then this video is entirely for you. So, let's get into it. Let's set the scene. You've just started playing. Maybe you have an event character that was quickly leveled with events, or maybe you've just been playing at your own pace for a little while. You've reached well into the 200s, and you're starting to need Meso for things like star forcing your equipment, trying to cube things for some more damage. Whatever it may be, you need Meso, but you don't have a super well-built account because, well, again, you're new. Well, make sure to subscribe, like, buckle in, because it's time to begin. The first and by far easiest, most lucrative way to obtain Meso early on in an account's life, in my opinion, and something that you'll likely be doing for the entirety of your time playing the game, is URSUS. Now, what is URSUS? Well, I hear you barking, big dog. URSUS is a boss, but URSUS is not just any boss. URSUS is an 18-player boss that you can enter starting at level 100. You queue up for the boss, go in, hit the big bear, and get rewards. Pretty simple, right? But there's also a method where you can enter URSUS solo. You hit the boss until you get around 700, 800 points, which will let you receive the maximum amount of Meso from the run, and then you can just die out. The reason I bring this up is because I know some people have potato computers, or sometimes it takes them a little bit longer to load in, whatever it may be. You're not able to hit the boss. You don't get rewards if you don't hit the boss. That is why I mention that. You can repeat the process 3 times a day, and the Meso scales depending on your level, so you generally want to do it on the highest level character that you have on your account every day. On a higher level character, you can make nearly 120 million Meso a day just from about 3 minutes of work hitting a giant bear. Pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Now, the next method, which is slightly more time consuming, but I still personally highly suggest you do it, is MapleStory. MapleStory is essentially Monster Park, but it's for Meso rather than experience. And if you're not familiar with Monster Park and what Monster Park is, then let me explain. MapleStory is a multi-map dungeon that you clear all the monsters on each map, and then you go to the next up until you get to the last map, which has a boss on it. Which, when you defeat it, you traverse in the exit portal, you will then get the reward. It'll add Meso to your accumulated wages, which you can view at the NPC. You get 2 free runs a day, and your wages will get paid out every 7 days from whenever you first ran MapleStory. You can easily rack up nearly 350 mil a week from doing these runs, which is why I highly suggest you do it, as it's essentially, I'd say anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes worth of work a day for about 350 mil a week, I say. It's not bad, you know? Now, the last major method that I'm going to be touching on here is bossing, but not quite how most people talk about bossing. I'm sure when people typically bring up bossing, they're talking about things like weekly bosses, stuff like that. But rather than focusing on weekly bosses or boss mules or any of that other stuff that clearly is well outside of our reach right now as a new player, new account, whatever it may be, we're going to be talking about daily bosses. Now, early on in your Maple life, daily bosses can be an absurd amount of Meso relative to how much you could reasonably farm, like by hand. The general idea is a lot of bosses have a weaker, lower difficulty version that can be ran daily, and when you're fresh, this helps an absolute ton. It gives you Meso that you so badly need, and it also, in addition, you can find things like, boss drops. Face accessories, pendants, shoulders, pocket items, all of this other stuff can drop from the normal or easy versions of bosses. In addition to the juicy power crystals that, we're hunting. We want those, sell them for the yummy Meso. Of course, you don't have to run all of the bosses, and they will certainly take a little bit longer than they do for me in the clips that I'm showing you here, but it's all very, very doable, especially for a new player, and it shouldn't take you too much time, and it's definitely better than hand farming, especially at the very beginning of the game, when you have no Meso gear, none of that other stuff. And it nets us about a cool 100 million, which, I mean, we can do this every single day, so that's 100 mil a day that we want to do our daily bosses. That's not too bad if you ask me. Anyways, I think that's all I've got for now. There definitely are other ways you can make Meso, such as farming. You know, obviously, farming is the other big way that you make Meso. But I just wanted to discuss the more time-efficient ways to get Meso, especially as a newer player, as it can feel like a struggle at times, and a lot of MapleStory is, in my opinion, it's a marathon rather than a sprint. So adding up all of these lower methods every single day, you can quickly start to stack up your Meso, and before you know it, you have a couple 100 mil, maybe you have a bill or two if you've been just doing your dailies. You take some time off the game, you just log in, do your dailies, you know, your 30-minute dailies. Next thing you know, you have a couple bill, you're looking pretty, especially as a newer player. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Consider becoming a YouTube member, help supports the channel. If not, no worries, your view is more than enough. I'm eternally grateful for all of you. Bye.